Bayern win the Champions League, defeating PSG in a 1-0 scoreline, as well as some major transfer news as we go into a restart of the season with the 2021 season coming up for the Bundesliga and the Premier League. All right, we got to talk about that Bayern Munich versus PSG game. I mean, Champions League final. It's unique, interesting because there's no fans. It's behind closed doors. I mean, just very, very interesting game that was coming up, and Bayern won 1-0. I'll be honest, just a little. I was kind of disappointed in how the game played out in terms of just not a lot of goals, not a lot of entertaining moments as I thought there would be. PSG just again, I was shocked because I was watching the CBS sports coverage of it, and the analysts Jamie Carragher and Michael Richards and another analyst, they said that PSG would win, and I don't understand why they thought that because they just assumed that PSG's finishing would get better, and I don't think that happened, and it didn't happen. I mean, they were just looking very poor. I mean, even there was one incident where Mbappe was offside a good amount, but he was 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he missed it because Neuer saved it. Credit goes to Neuer, of course, because some top quality saves from him, but they were just very, very poor in terms of being clinical in front of that goal. There's nothing really, turning up for them. They create a couple chances, but again, when they're trying to play out from the back, Bayern just pressed them to oblivion, as they always do with other teams. Of course, Bayern didn't score that much. They kind of put their foot off the pedal a little bit later on as they just try to slow down the game and, wait it out as they had that 1-0. But speaking more of that goal that really just put Bayern ahead was Kingsley Coman's header, but most importantly, Joshua Kimmich. I mean, Mourinho was talking about him, how incredible he is as a midfielder and a right back, and how he has so much about him, so many attributes, and you just see that. A beautiful pass, just perfectly lands it onto Kingsley Coman, who just had to head it in, and there we go. 1-0 Bayern. Completely deserved. I think Bayern deserved to win it. PSG, they deserved to be there, but I didn't think that they would win it, and they didn't because of just how they play. They play well to the front three, the attacking three, like Mbappe and Neymar and Di Maria, but the main problem again is that those players weren't clinical in front of goal, and if you're not clinical in front of goal, all those chances that you're creating, that doesn't really matter, does it? Because none of it's going in, and it turned out that's exactly what happened because PSG just again couldn't score. More importantly, Lewandowski, very shocking, just missing a couple of chances. And it turned out Kingsley Coman would be the one who did it. But still, good for Bayern. Solid run, amazing. They got the treble, winning the DFB Pokal Cup and, of course, the Bundesliga as well as the Champions League. Very, very, just amazing team how they play under Hansi Flick. Very, very solid. But now I just think that it's really going to be a focus for PSG whether they can do it again, because that is extremely heartbreaking. And if they have the talent and quality to push towards that again, but if they can even have that mentality to just keep pushing themselves like Liverpool did. The Liverpool lost the Champions League final, but in the next year they went on to win it. And if PSG have that same mentality, then for sure they can come back to this final and win for sure. Alongside Bayern, I mean Bayern looking absolutely solid, just the way they play. I think they're a team for the future as well. Of course, some of the key players potentially leaving like Alaba and Thiago, but still, a solid match from Bayern. They held off a lot of attacks. Manuel Neuer and Kimmich really being the top players, but in the end, Bayern wins, and PSG have yet to get that Champions League trophy that they've been looking for. The Europa League also happened with the final ending on Friday. Inter Milan losing out to Sevilla. Sevilla, just a long history in that competition. But again, Inter, I think, is the next big club with, of course, what they're doing. I mean, they're already a big club, but more of a giant club because of what they're able to produce slowly under Antonio Conte. What he's been doing there is very, very solid. I think it's definitely going to keep growing. I mean, they brought in key players such as Lukaku, Ashley Young, and then they brought in Christian Eriksen. Those players have looked far, far better than they did in the end of their years at the Premier League, under Manchester United and Tottenham. But still, looking very good, and I think that the future for them is winning that Scudetto in Serie A and winning a Champions League or the trophy. And it definitely is possible. They've been very, very smart in that transfer window. Some key signings that are like just very top class because those players have been really brought back to near their prime, such as Christian Eriksen, using what he had left on his contract to bring him in. They brought in Lukaku, Sanchez, solid signings, but more importantly for the future as well, Hakimi, great prospect, doing incredible at Dortmund. Did incredible at Dortmund, and now they brought him in just to give that extra talent to their squad and build towards that Serie A trophy. But definitely Antonio Conte, what he's doing at Inter, if they keep it up and continue this project, they are the next giant club. I do believe it. Because there's some clubs who are falling off right now, just not winning trophies, not really at the status you expect them at in terms of success for the level of club they are. And I think Inter's slowly building towards that specific goal, and they for sure will be the next giant club if they continue what they're doing. Bring in top players, and they have a solid manager, and keep going over those trophies and getting to these finals, and really all they have to do is secure it and win that trophy. All right, we got to talk about the situation regarding Manchester United and the captaincy. For those of you who don't know, Harry Maguire was arrested after he got in a drunken fight, and just, I believe, tried to run away from the police in a Greek island. And, of course, I mean, these things happen, I guess, but just what do you expect from a captain? More or less, a Manchester United captain. You view figures such as Roy Keane, who really just led, and Gary Neville, who led the club in terms of being very professional and serious, and just an example, a character. And I mean, when we talk about Roy Keane and Gary Neville, there's very, very lead by example type of people. Gary Neville working just very, very hard on the pitch. Roy Keane, just a solid player and really drills you into, doing well at the club. And I think that it's a time to rethink about why exactly you would give Harry Maguire the captaincy. Harry Maguire, I think he does get a lot more flack than he should be given, but after this incident, I don't think you should want that as your captain. Want Harry Maguire as your captain when he does these type of actions. Of course, I think Bruno Fernandes does deserve it. I mean, I'd say Bruno Fernandes just because of what he's doing at the club. I think Bruno Fernandes, what he instills in the players of Manchester United is worthy of a captaincy. I think that Harry Maguire, he under Manchester United, he did lead them to a top four, which is what they are happy about now and what they're joyous to hear. But what Bruno Fernandes is trying to push the team towards, and the improvement that he's put in, and how he actually drives some of the player. I mean, for example, when they conceded against Sevilla, Bruno Fernandes went at Victor Lindelof because it was Lindelof's fault for not, stopping Yuri De Jong, I believe, in scoring. And of course, Bruno Fernandes told them that, and that's exactly what you need to do. They need your teammate needs to understand that it's their fault for conceding that goal, and that's what he did, and that's what you need to see in a captain. And if I'm gonna be honest, I mean, Harry Maguire doesn't and hasn't been looking like a key figure of leadership and just overall guidance for some of those younger players. And I think he's not even that old himself and that experienced, I'd say. I mean, he's only 26, I believe. But more importantly, Bruno Fernandes, I mean, he's not that old himself either, but the way he carries himself, how he's professional, and how he still pushes himself to more to come. I mean, he's been compared to Eric Cantona, but he says he needs to be far better. I mean, that's what you expect from a player that you want at Manchester United. And I think that he definitely needs to be considered for the captaincy, or if not, the vice captaincy, and slowly integrate him. And if he continues to perform and pushes himself and the other players alike, then he needs to be slowly integrated to that captaincy role. All right, there's reports coming in that Frank Lampard and Chelsea are looking to bring in Ben Chilwell. It's been a long time report, and more importantly, it's looking like it could happen because there's reports that they've already completed the medical, and the Athletic said that he's already agreed to personal terms, and what now is just that they agree with Leicester on the fee surrounding the left back. There's reported again that they're expected to pay around 50 million euros. Definitely a solid price, I'd say, for Ben Chilwell. 23 years old, still has a lot of years to come, and he's definitely going to be a key figure if he performs and plays just as well as he did at Leicester this season, because he is a solid player. I mean, defensively and attack-minded fullback, and I think it's definitely a solid signing for what Chelsea needs. I mean, they're already bringing in two solid and potentially three key players for the attack, such as Kai Havertz, Keem Ziyech, and Timo Werner, but defensively very, very poor, lacking a goalkeeper, lacking a solid, strong center back, and more importantly, just defensively, just very, very poor, I'd say. And it's another reason why they need players like Chilwell. And I mean, Marcos Alonso. I mean, just very, very what you expect from Chelsea in terms of defensively. You see Chelsea as one of those great teams who defensively are solid and great. I mean, under Mourinho, as an example. But we're not really seeing that anymore. And Chelsea, I mean, have a plethora of attacking talent, but defensively they're very shallow. I'd say the only real strong defensive player for Chelsea is Azpilicueta, because of that experience and just what he's done is solid, but he doesn't really have that speed, I'd say, anymore to really stop these attacks from the opposition. And Rudiger has just been looking very shaky as well. Zuma as well, a little shaky. Christensen, not that impressive either. Just not really a quality defense. And Ben Chilwell could provide that and really help rejuvenate that defensive focus surrounding Chelsea. All right, we got to talk about Adama Traore from Wolves. There's reports that, of course, they wanted to keep Adama Traore. Amazing player, just some of his attributes, physicality and speed, just really bully some of these defenders, and he's definitely would be a solid player for any big club. And what he's performed at Wolves this season has been incredible. But there's reports that he could be leaving. Liverpool and Man City, of course, have been interested for a while now. More importantly, Liverpool have been interested in Traore, but it seems like they could let go of him. There's reports that they might not let go of him, but Nuno Espirito Santo, the manager, was told that he's need to raise transfer funds, and that could mean selling a massive player such as Adama Traore. And it's definitely going to be an interesting decision because he is one of their important players. There's also reports of them potentially bringing in, letting go of Raul Jimenez in terms of just the amount of interest that's coming in from clubs like Manchester United. And he could very well leave because Wolves are not at that level to compete with those clubs in terms of bringing in players that Raul Jimenez is at a level now where he could move on. And the same is looking like Adama Traore. And according to the Sunday Mirror, they are saying that he could move on again. He could move on away from Wolves towards a bigger club if Liverpool and Man City give enough of those transfer funds that Wolves is looking to raise. Kieran Trippier moved away from Tottenham to Atletico Madrid, helped Atletico in defeating Liverpool, helped them to reach, of course, the quarterfinals, I believe. And very, very solid at what he's done at Atletico Madrid. And it's looking like Aston Villa is looking to bring him in. Definitely interesting when I saw this, because I'd expect him not to leave Atletico Madrid, but it's reported that they're looking to bring him in on a permanent deal or a loan move, as Aston Villa's looking up to ramp up what they can get in terms of quality and overall solid players into their squad to make sure that they don't get in that relegation battle again. Of course, they relied on a lot of loanee players when they were in the championship, and when many of them left, and they were in the Premiership and they got injured players. Just it really revealed how much they lack in depth in their squad. I mean, when Wesley got injured, not a lot of strikers that went up and really helped give Aston Villa that confidence, and they had to rely on players like Jack Grealish and Trezeguet, and thankfully they did deliver. But if not, again, they need those strikers, and defensively they also could be in need of depth. And they're looking to bring in Kieran Trippier, definitely a quality player, and if they create a shock and bring him in, then I'm going to be very, very surprised, and I can see Aston Villa, if they get a couple more signings like this, they could finish mid-table, maybe even upper half. But if they keep these signings, and if it's looking like Jack Grealish will stay because of the lack of interest, really, not that much interest going around the player, and the high transfer bid that would follow, then they can definitely get mid-table. All right, moving on to our wonder kid to watch, a Korean gem and star that's really rising from their under-20s, under-19s, and is looking like a future HeungMin Son in terms of level of stardom, is Lee Kang-in. Valencia's young prodigy, Ferran Torres, left, and he's the one remaining. And he's 19 years old, solid experience in La Liga in terms of this really was his season where he got more regular appearances. Of course, it's still gradual in his development, but a very versatile player in terms of can play on the left and the right, attacking midfielder, just in the final third, very, very, very versatile, and could be useful in the tactical sense in terms of where you can put him. Also major headaches for the opposition defense, very quick and agile, moving through the defense and just really putting a headache on them. And he also has had some international success, not in terms of lifting a trophy, more say, but what he's done with Korea, especially their under-20s, leading them to a final where they lost to Ukraine, but picking up a golden ball in the under-20 World Cup. And of course, helping lead Korea as one of the key players in that under-20 side to the World Cup. He's definitely, it's going to be interesting because, of course, I'd say that out of many of the fans, Korean football fans have also, they put a lot of pressure and a lot of praise on a player, and maybe and hopefully that doesn't affect Lee Kang-in, more importantly, but what he can do is what he can do and what the potential he has. I think it's not going to be very long until another big club moves in to secure his services. Ferran Torres already left. Of course, there was reports that he didn't really have a solid foundation in terms of relationships with other people at the club, but he also said that Lee Kang-in, himself and Lee Kang-in weren't really treated great and perfect and quite well at the club with other players and the manager and the captain. But it's really going to be determining next season what is the future of Lee Kang-in in terms of will he be moving on? Will he be getting a more stable position at Valencia in terms of more continuous appearances? And will he slowly become that player that's even better than HeungMin Son in terms of just stardom and level of popularity? I mean, HeungMin Son is just beloved by Koreans, and Lee Kang-in, he's looking like Korea's future in terms of quality. And there's so many other Asian talents. Takefusa Kugo, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing that. He's already at Real Madrid, and Lee Kang-in is just another one of those Asian stars that are coming in and looking absolutely solid for their club and country in terms of the future that they can provide. And he's definitely very versatile to really help a club in terms of tactical, in the tactical sense. Just really can be used a lot of places in that final third. Thank you, of course. That will be it for this episode of the Football Baron podcast. Of course, we enjoyed that Champions League final. Any Champions League is better than no Champions League in the circumstances we are in. But something I expect a little bit more from that Champions League final. But unfortunately, it wasn't as grandeur as I expected from those two teams. But still, congratulations to Bayern Munich. Some interesting transfer news, and Lee Kang-in, definitely an interesting player. Wonder kid to watch. But just some great things happening, and we'll be here in a couple more days, a few more days, and then we will, of course, transition to the start of the Bundesliga season and the Premier League season, which we will cover, of course, in our podcast. Of course, if you're on any podcast platform, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, or Apple Podcast, please subscribe to us, follow us, or give us 5 stars on that platform. And if you are listening on YouTube, or if you are not listening on YouTube, go to our channel, Football Baron, and subscribe to us there. And of course, when you are on there, you can look at clips and, of course, the podcast in a YouTube format. Of course, again, thank you for listening, and hope you all have a great day.